Hey everybody, so here we are in round two. We got a bye in round one because our opponent never showed up, and we have a mulligan here. If we had two lands, this would possibly be a keep, but as it is, with one land, there's no way we can keep this. And this is fine. We've got a 1-drop into a 2-drop, and maybe we even actually do exploit to get some value from our Shambling Goblin. Yeah, I mean, I don't think that will be our play. Depending, if our opponent goes turn 1 Typhoid Rats here, it could be. All right, so our curve is looking fine, just totally great. We got 1 into 2, no 3 yet, but we could have a 4-drop coming down the line and the great 5-drop to top off our curve. Wow, okay, so our opponent threw defeat at us. And we drew a Karsi High Priest. So I think I'm actually totally fine with playing. Let's just play for the purposes of mana efficiency, we'll play the Sadist now. It also does block 2/2s. We are not going to sacrifice a creature. This will buy us a little bit of time. We could have played the High Priest instead, hoping to play the Sadist, maybe exploiting it or something, but I don't think that's a great play for us. Yeah, so Sadist holds back this Jeskai Sage from becoming a problem, and we can just play our High Priest now, and not going to be greedy. We're just going to stay back for now. Opponents on blue-black, we can expect some exploit creatures given this Jeskai Sage. Hopefully our opponent doesn't play, an impressive blocker here, and we can play our Brutal Horde Chief and start getting in for some value. If not, we'll see how to play from there. Yep, that was totally expected. Opponents drawing 3 cards here, getting their Volturous Aven online. Hardened Berserker. So Hardened Berserker can attack into Volturous Aven, and it gives us a better attack now than we'd have if we played this Brutal Horde Chief. It's possible, I think what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make the attack with the Sadist, representing that I have something. Like, I could have Coat with Venom or Butcher's Glee here, so my opponent's not going to block. Getting a free point of damage. There wasn't any risk there. And we'll play out the Hardened Berserker now, both because this is better if our opponent sort of doesn't really make a big play here, so we can play our Brutal Horde Chief, and because this gives us access to Sarkhan's Rage next turn, which, with these blue-black exploit decks, it's a possibility that we'll need to throw that out there. Okay, so no 5-drops coming. What would be great for us is if our opponent gets aggressive with their Volturous Haven. If they get aggressive with their Volturous Haven, we slam with everything and play our Brutal Horde Chief out, which would be, pretty great for us. Yes, so we're pretty happy about this because we're going to get to play our Brutal Horde Chief and attack with our 3/2 and our 1/3 into his morph. Swamp, not a bad draw. All right, so that's a must answer card from us. Put some triggers onto the stack. We're going to always yield to this trigger, and we're going to yield to the Hardened Berserker trigger. Our opponent didn't block the 1/3. That's interesting. So from our opponent, I think we can pretty reliably expect a removal spell here for our Brutal Horde Chief. It's unfortunate that okay, so they're going to bounce something, maybe? Either that, I mean, they could just be playing this as a blocker. Okay, they are going to exploit, probably targeting our Brutal Horde Chief. I mean, that's an interesting play that does read that our opponent may have a counterspell here. I mean, I think it's pretty, This is interesting. So the morph possibly is a Silumgar Spell Eater, in which case we'd have to pay 3. So that would be pretty bad for us if that's our opponent's play. I think in that case, I'm going to serve with the Sadist and the Hardened Berserker and hold back casting the Horde Chief. This way we can use the Karsi High Priest to save something if our opponent does unmorph here. And we can just pass the turn and Sarkhan's Rage are either our opponent or one of their plays next turn. Like running Horde Chief into a counterspell and then the morph eating one of our guys is just a sort of the perfect way for us to lose this game, where we're in a pretty commanding position right now. And I think I'm going to elect to not play the Horde Chief and just pass. Like our opponent does not have the luxury of just sitting back right now. Like it's up to our opponent to actually do something here. Okay. Our opponent comes in with Vulturous Aven. Right, they chose not to. So I'm going to fire off the Sarkhan's Rage on the morph. Force an action from our opponent. Yep, Spell Eater. All right. Can't pay 3. Acid Spear Dragon is a pretty decent draw here. We can't attack with the Hardened Berserker. So what we're going to do is we're just going to cast this face down. Let's see, hold on. We have 6 lands right now. Maybe we just, we'll just cast this out and make our opponent respect this. Holds back our opponent's Vulturous Aven. Though our opponent has now 5 cards in hand, it's definitely not a 1 game for us. It's possible that I should have held on to that Sarkhan's Rage. Though, I mean, there's really nothing we could do. You know, we can't just sort of sit behind and wait for the Spell Eater to come out. Okay, yeah, so our opponent respecting Karsi High Priest, which is, I think definitely a solid move by our opponent. So next turn, what we may have to do is just play out the Brutal Horde Chief and start attacking with the Dragon. Opponent's got lots of mana, definitely representing all kinds of shenanigans here. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play the Horde Chief here. If our opponent has a removal spell or a counter, then that's bad for us, but I don't really see how else we can play this. Opponent probably going to snap off if they have the flatten now. Reach of Shadows, targeting the Horde Chief. That's interesting, because now we get our attack in with this dragon. And Silumgar Spell Eater, though he looks like he might be flying, is not actually a flyer, so we're coming in for 3. Dropping our opponents to 5. And at this point, we're looking to draw basically spells. I think most of the spells in our deck are quite good in this point of the game. Particularly, of course, our big bad dragons. All right, well, that's not great for us. It's not the end of the world either. I mean, our opponent can't attack, we can't attack, and our opponent's on 5, we're on 18, so we have This is risky. They come in for 2 and we draw a removal spell for their Breeze Dancer, then they're going to regret this attack. Alright, well, there it is. And Tail Slash. Okay, Tail Slash is pretty good. And I'm going to go ahead and cast it now, targeting the Breeze Dancer. Opponent could have something. No, nothing. Alright, that's good for us. So I could attack with everything, get our opponent down to 1, but we lose a creature in the process. I think it's fine to just go for this attack. I mean, if our opponent had a removal spell, they would have killed the dragon when they had the chance, so don't feel any risk in running our dragon in there. Second Reach of Shadows. All right. Opponent still has 1 card in hand. Opponent's thinking, yeah. Gonna make us have the removal spell here. We don't have it. We're not going to attack in. Holding back this Spell Eater, you know, our opponent's on a 7-turn clock, and in 7 turns, hopefully we'll draw something that will end the game. You know, we have more Tail Slashes available to kill the Volturous Haven, and we have, you know, lots of spells. I mean, unfortunately, this is in play, you know, Karsi Sadist, right? Like, we could, if we were in this situation, you know, and got a, okay, that's actually a fine draw. This sets us up to force our opponent to hold back their Volturous Haven, or play another creature out, and Typhoid Rats, you know, is going to be able to attack in. Okay. All right. So Deathbringer Regent, it's when you have 5 or if there are 5 or more other creatures. So there are 5 currently. Opponent has 1 card in hand. Yeah, I think we just play it out. Force our opponents to have something. You know, giving them this information is a little bit unfortunate, you know, but now our opponents have to have a spell to stop us from winning. They have reduced in stature, so, you know, they're getting there. It's possible maybe I should have held on to the Regent. I don't know. Yeah, because, I mean, like, what are my other options? I run in the Typhoid Rats, which trades with the Spell Eater. Or maybe the Volturous Haven. And then there are 3 creatures on the board, and we're just staring at each other. Alright, so we have correctly held on to this land so that we can Tormenting Voice here. Discarding our swamp. We draw 2 more swamps. Alright. Okay, deck. I see how it is. We have plenty of draws that are very good here. And our opponent, you know, does not have a ton of pressure on us. So, I'm not, you know, supremely worried about our chances here. If we keep drawing lands, however, it's going to become very unfortunate for us. And our opponent's deck is good. You know, they've got a lot of removal, so, you know, if they are able to, like, yeah, play some more threats and start getting around us, we're gonna have some trouble. All right, Merciless Executioner, totally great draw. We're gonna sack our dragon, who's doing nothing for us, and our opponent is probably gonna sack their Hand of Silumgar. No, interesting. I mean, they can't attack. right? Like, if they attack here, okay. So we're going to attack, force our opponent to make this trade, and then we're going to play our morph so that we have, I think we have enough to unmorph it. Yep, exactly enough to unmorph our Marsh Hulk. Whoops. I guess I tapped too many. That's okay. We have enough lands in hand that didn't punish us severely. Opponent has to have a removal spell. And they do. Alright, so that's great. So against this opponent, we want sort of all the grindy cards that we can get. Tassiger's Cruelty is definitely worth a consideration against this opponent. Our Delve cards will probably be good because we'll be exchanging resources for a lot of the game. Karsi High Priest seems very good. The Sadist was fine. So as far as our cuts go, let's see, do we also I don't think we want the second Silumgar Butcher. Deck seems fine. Let's see, they had a lot of flyers. Silumgar Butcher is fine there. To just kill some other stuff. Didn't see like too many serious threats though, so I think I don't want to cut too much on our low end. Maybe High Priest is no, High Priest is good against this opponent. I think maybe the Summit Prowler is the cut here. Just because, you know, double red isn't easy for us necessarily, and I think I'd rather have Tassiger's Cruelty against this opponent than a 4-3. Like, we have a lot of cards that sort of fill that role. And I don't want to cut any of our early stuff, and I think our late stuff is just too good, so sorry, some EP, but you're out. I don't think I'm going to play the second Silumgar Butcher, though, because I don't think it's particularly great. A lot of the stuff that our opponent's playing, we can just sort of ignore. So yeah, we'll try this. And Tassiger's Cruelty, of course, is better being on the draw, also against a deck like our opponents, where they're really trying to play it. This hand looks quite bad, but we have 2/3 drops and the Monument, which I think the Monument's going to be very good against this opponent. And, you know, we just need a third land, and we can play any of these 3 drops, and then we've got our great cards in hand, so I'm going to keep this. And we drew our third land, so there we go. So I'm going to lead with a Swamp. Now we just need to draw a 2-drop. I mean, our opponent, we saw their deck, they've got tons of 2-drops, so we're going to see something here. Yeah, Hand of Silumgar, about the worst thing that we could be seeing. Alright, no play for us, so we're going to be taking a little bit of damage here. And along those lines, I think it's correct then to play out the Marsh Hulk to trade. Is that right? If I play the Kolagon Monument, I'll have access to 5 mana next turn, which doesn't get me any of the cards in my hand. We'll see what we draw. Yeah. So yeah, I'm just going to play down the Marsh Hulk with the intention of trading it with the Hand of Silumgar. Fuels our Delve, gets us a little bit closer. Our opponent, you know, has plenty of cards in hand, so I think what we want to do here is just sort of trade off resources. Okay, our opponent's going to defeat. Maybe that was we knew they had defeat, maybe that was like a case for playing the Hardened Berserker. Though if they're just, I mean, if their plan is to just play, you know, removal spells and kill us with Hand of Silumgar, I don't think that's going to work the way they think it will. So if I play Monument here, that gives me access to 6 mana next turn. 6 mana allows me to play Gurmag Angler. And then the following turn to play Deathbringer Regent. Yeah, I think that's fine. Could just bait out another removal spell. Because, yeah, okay, if I play Hardened Berserker, And I have 5 mana next turn and 2 cards in the yard. I think that's okay. Yeah, I think that's fine. So our opponent definitely doesn't want our Hardened Berserker attacking into him, you know, getting us cheaper spells and everything. So we're going to offer the trade here and then probably follow up with something else. So I don't think they're expecting me to make this block, but I'm going to because this guarantees us access to Gurmag Angler and trades, you know, with one of our opponent's cards. Ooh, that's pretty bad for us. That's really bad for us. Yeah, that's we didn't want to see that. So we're gonna slam our angler here, and pray, pray that our opponent doesn't have a Reach of Shadows. Well, I guess Reach of Shadows is fine, because then our opponent can't activate the dragon. But like, if our opponent is activating this dragon every turn, we're gonna be in some serious trouble. I mean, just getting attacked with the dragon is bad enough, though we do have a Deathbringer Regent coming down the line. And that might just be our opponent's plan, is to just, you know, sink mana into the dragon, to clog up the ground to keep our angler back. Oh, and they mill us for 2. Interesting. Ooh. God, that's so good. I mean, we can replay the angler, but like, geez, look at this. Opponent is going off. We're going to bounce our angler here. We're going to drop to 8. Shambling Goblin, not the card that I was hoping to draw. But we are going to play it. Just to get another creature onto the board. Hopefully this entices our opponent to commit a little bit more to the board. Maybe even, you know, reaching our Gurmag Angler or something. Yikes. So they're going to flatten us and then make a zombie, I'm assuming. Alright. So there will be 5 creatures when Deathbringer Regent enters the battlefield. Five or more other creatures. Oh no! Ugh. Did that just lose us the game? Oh man. Because I can't afford both. So maybe I just play the dragon? Oh gosh. This is so bad for us. Because we can't afford to take another hit here. Yeah, it may have just lost us the game. Because there aren't 5 or more other creatures. There are only 4 other creatures. And if our opponent has a removal spell for this guy, they get in with the dragon and a zombie, dropping us to 2. And yeah, it's not looking good. I don't think there's any card in our deck that gets us out of it, but may as well play it anyway. So coming up in game 3, we definitely want cards that deal with the dragon. So we'll go back to the drawing board here. I don't think we have anything really in our sideboard that deals with them. Brutal Horde Chief, do you change our math at all? We still die to the dragon in the air, so we're gonna concede this one. And in our sideboard, we'll see what we've got here. Grave Purge could be good against this opponent, just as like a grindy card. Tassiger's Cruelty, not the greatest if we choose to be on the play, which I think we will. Our opponent is like more aggressive than not. Grave Purge, I think, is maybe the best card that we have against this opponent. Summit Prowler does trade with our opponent's dragon, but so do all of our dragons and stuff. Silumgar Butcher, maybe Silumgar Butcher isn't good. Seems fine. I'll keep one in just for the possibility. Yeah, but that dragon is tough for us to deal with, so we definitely want to keep something around to handle it. We will play first. I think I can afford to keep here. We have 2 chances to draw our 3rd land, and if we hit our 3rd land, I'm pretty happy. And we can run out this Karsi High Priest first. It's not a great 7, but I think it's probably better than a 6. It's like a little bit risky, but it's not, I don't know, it's not extremely risky. What we don't want to see, okay, so that's fine. This is about to say what we don't want to see is we don't want to see, a very fast start from our opponent and us miss lands, and I think, so far neither of those are happening, so that's fine for us. We'll play the Marsh Hulk out first to bait out a removal spell. Acid Spear Dragon, obviously way more impactful against this opponent. Right into Being is great for us. This means that we get to, we could do a number of things here. I think I'm going to hold on to the Tail Slash for now, but we can trade our morph for our opponent's morph and put a Acid Spewer into play, or if we rip another land, our Thunderbreak Regent. Okay, no land, but still totally happy to run my dude into my opponent's creature. And I think what I want to do here is actually play my Shambling Goblin, just in case my opponent decides to play a 1 toughness creature, or wanted to play a 1 toughness creature, because then I can Karsi High Priest away their 1 toughness creature using sacrificing my Shambling Goblin. Like this. Like, this is totally fine. I'm going to let that enter the battlefield. And then I'm going to pay 1 and a black. I'm going to sacrifice my Shambling Goblin, eat this, and manifest a card. And we manifested the mountain we needed. I feel like that's always what happens when you manifest. You always manifest the card that you needed the most. Oh, but we drew one anyway. All right, so we're off to the races here because we've hit sort of the necessary number of lands for us to be effective. And this Grave Purge is going to be great for us. If our opponent taps out for a Necromaster Dragon or something, we can just Tail Slash it away. If they tap out to kill our Thunderbreak Regent, we get to start coming in with our Manifest, and our opponent's going to be taking some damage off of the trigger. So that's also not like a terrible prospect for us. Yeah, Reach of Shadows, totally fine. So we'd like to draw a few more lands here. So I'm going to go ahead and attack for sure. And Let's see. Do I just Grave Purge now? Putting Thunderbreak Regent? No, I think I want to hit one more land. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play the Acid Spear Dragon face down, leaving up enough mana to activate Karsi High Priest. This is the opportunity for our opponent to slam their big dragon. Yeah, of course they have it. What we can do, though, is we can attack with both of our creatures and Tail Slash. So it's not the end of the world. Alright. Another land is good. Make our opponent do some guessing here. Opponent wise not to make the block. And I think that means that we are going to Grave Purge, putting Marsh Hulk and then Thunderbreak Regent on top. Yeah, let's see what our opponent musters here. No, I think we put the Thunderbreak Regent on top and then the Marsh Hulk, because if we do that, then we have enough for Karsi High Priest. And that allows us to push through a whole bunch of damage here. Seems fine. What's important is that we sequence things so that our answer of Tail Slash for Necromaster Dragon is effective. You know, what we don't want is we don't want our opponent to yeah, we don't care about this reduce in stature, I think. So we'll go ahead and I suppose activate and sacrifice our manifest. Sort of a weird play from our opponent. Buying back Thunderbreak Regent, Marsh Hulk, and Thunderbreak Regent. Okay. So we're going to put this on top and then this. Yep. And we flipped up Soul Flare. So that's an interesting flip for us. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have exactly enough to up our Soul Flare. I think what we can do though is opponent's on 2 cards. I think what we're gonna do here is just play out the Thunderbreak Regent. And pass. Can we pass? I don't know if we can afford to pass. Let's attack. Like, both of these guys will flip up eventually, and one of them will trade for the zombie now. We have big creatures already. Like, I don't know. It's like the biggest deal in the world to be losing a creature here. So now if our opponent has an answer to Thunderbreak Regent, we get to manifest. Okay, so we're gonna we got a Karsi Sadist. So our opponent, if our opponent makes an attack here, it's pretty risky for them. Like they have 2 manifests to choose from, and one of them is a Soul Flare. So they're going to pay the 2 here. They're going to get themselves a zombie. But we're going to come in for some damage, and they're pretty low life totals. Hand of Silumgar. Hand of Silumgar, pretty good for our opponent. I can play Hardened Berserker and a Tail Slash. What does that get me? I could just Tail Slash the Hand of Silumgar. Yeah, so if I wanted to be aggressive here, I think, yeah, this is maybe what I do want to do, is I want to play the Hardened Berserker and the Tail Slash. Tail Slash away Hand of Silumgar, attack with both my guys, get in for 2 damage, killing the zombie. Then next turn, how much do I really care about either of these creatures? Like if they trade off right here, what's my move? Play Marsh Hulk, Tail Slash my opponent next turn. They're gonna have a zombie. All right, let's see what happens with these attacks. I think I can make both of these attacks pretty safely. Yeah. And then I think it's okay to just play out the Marsh Hulk. Whoops. Opponent has 1 card in hand, and if it's Reach of Shadows, we're done. But if it's not Reach of Shadows, like if it's a land, right? Can our opponent afford to attack? I mean, our opponent will attack in here. But we definitely have, a lot of outs to win the game at this point. So I don't think, using our, like, playing Hardened Berserker and Tail Slash last turn, I don't think that would have been too great for us. We would have put through a little bit of damage, but lost the ability to deal with the dragon. Our opponent would be at 4. We'd have 2 attackers. Wow. Opponent not paying for the ability. That's like kind of scary. Oh my god. What is this? Ojutai, Soul of Winter. Okay. Alright. It's pretty much unbeatable. We need Premier removal here. It's a 5/6 Vigilance. Ugh. So it's pretty obvious we're going to Tail Slash our opponent's Necromaster Dragon. 2, 3. And we're going to play our Gurmag Angler for full effect. This means that, our opponent can hit us. We were 1 mana short of our Hardened Berserker, and the Hardened Berserker would have made the difference there. Because if we could cast the Hardened Berserker, then we'd have 3 attackers next turn. And the fact that this thing has Vigilance. Oh, I guess it taps down one of our guys. So whatever he decides to tap down, I have to manifest, I think. Karsia High Priest. Probably means Gurmag Angler. Yeah. It's fine. It's not fine. We're probably dead here. Okay, our opponent's playing another dragon. We're definitely dead here. Yep. Silumgar Butcher. Not quite good enough. Our opponent is going to make the sensible blocks here, I'm sure. And we are going to sacrifice our Silumgar Butcher, and maybe we hit something. No. Alright, we're done. Alright, so we lost that one. It was pretty close down towards the end there. You know, our opponent's Sweet Dragons beat out our Sweet Dragons. But I thought we were very much in the game down till the end. So I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you guys next time.